Okay, so this is 5th of June 2026. So I want to talk about the soul. The soul, Soul. There's this really good article. I haven't read it completely. What the hell is it? Oh yeah, it's called "The 4 Ways a Human Being Loses the Soul: Ancient Warnings, Trauma, Manipulation, and the Spiritual Fragmentation of the Human Mind." So I will link this article. I skimmed it. I haven't completely carefully read it through, but I skimmed it because I'm just so distracted. I find it very difficult to concentrate on things, and that's part of the fragmentation of the mind and trauma and mental health issues. You know, I have to develop, work on meditation, concentration, focus, reading. And I think I should start reading good books like classical literature, pre-modern period. Because when you go with modernism and postmodernism, everything starts fracturing. And that's what's the dilemma of contemporary societies. Everything's fractured. There is no coherence, order, and then your mind is like a chaotic mess. And especially with social media, all these links and all of this really fractures the mind, the psyche, identity, angst, existential angst, a loss of faith in knowledge, epistemological collapse. You don't trust anything. So the whole internal mind is chaotic and unfocused. And I don't think that's the way for a healthy soul. In order to have a healthy soul, you need to have a mind that's ordered, not too rational or logical. You need to have your emotions also connected. And I think these ancient pre-modern texts, like philosophy and Plato. Yeah, I think I should start reading those. Help my mind structure and organize itself. In this article they talk about you can lose your soul because what is it? Soul wandering, the neglected soul. The first one is the soulless birth, humans born without a soul. The neglected soul is what's happening to people in modern civilization. Here's a quote. Many ancient cultures believed the soul required nourishment just as the body did. Ritual, creativity, silence, prayer, nature, storytelling, art, community, mourning, music, contemplation, and moral living all functioned as forms of soul maintenance. Modern industrial life often strips these away. The result is a civilization overflowing with stimulation, social media, but starving for meaning. In Jungian psychology, Carl Jung repeatedly warned that modernity had severed humanity from symbolic life and the unconscious psyche. He believed spiritual emptiness contributed directly to neurosis, fragmentation, and collective pathology. Soul wandering occurs slowly, and I'm quoting from this. the person does not usually notice it at first. They stop creating, reflecting, grieving honestly, and listening internally. They abandon wonder and become consumed entirely by survival, status, distraction, addiction, resentment, consumption, productivity, or social performance. In many indigenous traditions, this condition would be interpreted as spiritual drift. The person has wandered too far from their own essence. I think I'm having this problem. Another way is soul theft, when the soul is taken through deception. And nearly every civilization contains warnings about forces capable of stealing the soul. And they even talk about aliens doing this. I think there might be something there. Consciousness. Number 4 is soul fright and soul flight. When trauma forces the soul to leave. I think I'm suffering from this too. Perhaps, and I quote, perhaps the most ancient understanding of soul loss involves terror. Across countless cultures, sudden trauma was believed capable of forcing the soul to flee the body for protection. I had that experience. I had this out-of-body experience in response to a traumatic event. I remember going out of my body. I didn't have any control over it. And I was looking down. It's a very strange feeling. I felt like completely like disconnected from whatever I was feeling. It's very strange. And it ends with, and why caring for the soul is part of self-care, of healthcare, a necessity for living a vibrant life. Anyway, yeah, I think I need to get back on that, and I need to, interesting videos I've watched recently. Here's some link to some videos I watched recently, which I found very, very interesting. UFOs and aliens, and that's what I'm sort of focused on. I'm currently listening to this abductee called Jim Sparks, and that was a very fascinating interview. He talks about he has almost 95 to 98% of conscious recall. So his abduction experiences are not taken through hypnosis. He consciously remembers them. I was talking about how the aliens are trying to, I don't know, they're trying to do something. Like they're stone taskmasters, and that was very, very interesting. What are some other videos which I thought were right here? Yeah, here I'll put this one in. Is this? So yeah, I need to. One of the videos I showed, they mentioned these 42 laws of ancient Egypt, and because 42, I'm like 42. What the hell is that? Apparently it's like ways of giving a good the 42 laws. I just googled it. It says, like, AI says it's like the ways of living a good life, sort of like the 10 commandments. And when I was listening to Jim Sparks, he was talking about like how the aliens are like, I got the impression that the aliens are teaching us how to live a good life. Like, so it's this idea that when you want to evolve to a higher state, it's not just looking after your body, but you have to look after your mind and your soul. And there's like an order. In order to live a good life, there's a structure to life. It's not like chaos. There's a structure to live a good life. And I think ancient cultures had some understanding of this knowledge. And the aliens seem to be into that. I think they gave us that, the 10 Commandments. But yeah, there's some kind of way to be. And one comment Jim Sparks makes is that, and this is something I've thought about myself, because the aliens are all telepathic, they cannot lie to each other. And because no one can lie to each other, unlike humans who can lie, aliens can read your mind, they can read each other's mind. So this stops them from engaging in wars. Because if someone is going to be like, engaged in some conflict, everyone will know what's going on. And so no one can be deceived. So that's why I guess it's like if you want to evolve, would be a part of the galactic civilization. They don't fight. This is what he's saying, because they all know what each other is thinking and what their intentions are. So that was a fascinating thing where he was talking about like this ship, this diamond ship landed and he saw it and the ship communicated to him what it was doing. So apparently like when these ships travel throughout the cosmos and and someone comes along and he sees the ship identifies itself, so the other person can say, oh, this is what you are, and then they go up their own way. It's sort of like an intergalactic universal protocol of self-identification. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. That is really cool. And he was able to receive this information because it was a proximity to the aliens. He might have something might have happened to his brain where he's allowed to receive this information, whereas I think humanity, most of us cannot receive it, probably because our genetics have been tampered with. I think our ancestors had this telepathic ability, and someone came in and messed with our genes, made our lives short, diminished our telepathic capacity, and so they could control us. Anyway, it's important to look after yourself. That's very important.